Okay, Lauren, it is your time. It is your time to shine. Talk to us about potential trades. I know you said there weren't any too crazy spicy ones, but let's see. The Suns have made their spicy trades, so it's okay. But
it's difficult. I feel like for this one we should do another quick fire sort of. I throw out a name, you say yes or no, but I think we should start with how I was looking at this was, okay, who on Phoenix would actually potentially be movable? And so where I get a little tied up is I go to Nas Little, I go to some of the smaller contracts, and then you're looking at, okay, are they open to moving Grayson Allen? Are they open to moving Jusuf Nurkic? And I think right now, I don't think you can necessarily even consider Grayson Allen being movable. Maybe I'm wrong there, and then maybe time will tell with Nurkic. But as far as most of these are centered around Nas Little plus filling money with some smaller contracts. So with that in mind, we will do a quick fire, yes or no to the names. Are you ready? Okay. First up,
I'm ready.
Is a reunion with Alec Burks.
Sorry, you cut out. Alec Burks? Is that what you said? Okay. Yes.
You would be open to that. You would be open to that. Okay.
I would be open to that.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Royce O'Neal.
I'm gonna say no. I think on the wing they'll be okay.
Okay, then we'll switch to the guard position. What about Monty Morris?
Yeah. It's so tough because I really like having like Josh Okogie and Jordan Goodwin to just throw at opposing backcourts and be like, clamp them up, irritate the hell out of them. But playing them at the same time, your spacing is dead. And like, I don't know if there's enough room for both of them in the rotation if they're not sharing the court, if that makes sense. So, and I do think like, as much as I've said, like Book is their actual point guard, I think the playmaking will be better when he's back. When Book is not out there, the playmaking has been a little dicey. So having someone that has a little bit more experience in that role would probably be helpful. So I'll say
okay. So do you feel like for Phoenix, as far as potentially looking at where would you want your attention to be in terms of like a prototype? What do you maybe foresee them potentially shifting their attention
like a position
to? Because go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like positionally. Are we talking
like positionally, size wise? Because there are so many different options. I think the most intriguing option to me is a Nas Little plus a few second round picks for a Jayshawn Tate and Reggie Bullock. I think that's something that could be really intriguing for Phoenix.
That would be very nice. Yeah, that would be nice.
But
that would slap. Yeah.
And I think that those are two guys that Houston could see as like very, very expendable. And so it's the moves like that I'm like, I can see Phoenix sort of shoring up the roster that way, but I'm not sure if they're looking at like, hey, we're not going to necessarily need more big wings. We're going to maybe need to go for a bigger swing and to think about, replacing Jusuf Nurkic with a Gerald Allen type prototype.
Right. No, I think for them, the two positions that they would probably look at, I do love that trade that you brought up, but I think there are two positions that they'll probably look at first would be the point guard position for more of a traditional kind of playmaker since they don't have one outside of Booker in that regard. And TJ McConnell is a name that has come up in the past. I know when the Suns were negotiating the DeAndre Ayton trade with the Blazers, that for a hot minute there, the Pacers were involved in those talks, and TJ McConnell was the guy that the Suns wanted. So he's definitely a guy that's on their radar, and he's kind of, I haven't checked his numbers recently, but I felt like to start the season, he was kind of wasting away because they've got Halliburton, they got like Nembhard. Yeah. So he's a guy that, experienced pro, could come in, run an offense, give you defense, knock down a spot up three every now and then. That's what they would want. And then the bigger swing is like, if you need to find a Nurkic replacement, if this experiment goes badly, if you need, or not even just a replacement, but someone that you can trust to close games behind him, that is easier said than done though, because, Nurkic's trade value was already not high entering the season. It's not going to be any higher if the Suns are like, yeah, we're going to dump this guy 4 months into his tenure here. Please give us something good for him. Like
fair.
here's a handful of second round picks. Like, no one's gonna go for that.
I'm looking at just like big men in the league right now, just to see like who maybe potentially, and not even as a Nurkic replacement, just like as like a supplement to what he can do. The Hawks with Clint Capella, maybe, that seems like something, because they're ready to move on to Onyeka Okongwu. He's going to be an expiring. Like, maybe Clint Capella can be had. And I think ultimately maybe you can keep Nurkic and still go out and get him. That could make, yes, no, maybe so. Yeah. Okay.
Clint has been on my list of guys the Suns should trade for years. There's an alternate universe somewhere where Gerald is covering a team that the Suns drafted Luka Doncic and went after Clint Capella in restricted free agency that year. We don't need to talk about that, Gerald, because he's living the good life. But like, I do think he would be great. Like, I think there are a lot of Suns fans that are probably praying for the Hawks' downfall this season so that a guy like that is on the market, because he would be kind of ideal. He would fill the DeAndre Ayton role of setting screens, being a roller, being a rim protector, rebounder, that type of thing, and also fill the role that DA could not, in terms of like, he doesn't care about touches. He's not here to, try to expand his offensive game or prove himself as a number one pick. He wants to win a title, and that's the most important thing. So a Capella would be kind of the best case scenario if mid-season you need to pivot away from Nurkic as your starting.
I have two more for you. Daniel Gafford or Kelly Olynyk. These are two teams that, like, they're not trying to win. Maybe they can go and get out something for those guys. Gafford is obviously the starting center for the Wizards. I'm going to be watching him tonight with the Raptors. But, maybe something there. Olynyk, he's an expiring. The Jazz are probably going to look for whoever can be the highest bidder there. Maybe two guys that can work, right?
So you know what's funny is Gafford was a guy that over the summer, before the DA trade talks really started heating up, I think I wrote a list of 40 different DeAndre Ayton trades, and Gafford was one of them. And I had so many Suns fans that hated the move because apparently they didn't watch Wizards basketball. He would be great. He's athletic as hell. He's really good. He's still young. I don't know how ready he'd be to jump from a team like that to a team with like legitimate title aspirations. That's always a question mark with a move like that. But that would be, if you need to pivot from Nurkic, I would definitely be open to that. Kelly Olynyk is interesting because I feel like he's a similar type of player in terms of the versatility to a guy like a Nurkic or something like that. In terms of being a passing big, the floor spacing would be really nice because, Nurk has taken a lot of threes. He hasn't made a lot. That kind of is looking like a 1 year aberration last year. But Olynyk could do that for sure. I think offensively he'd help you. Defensively, I think you'd still have some significant concerns to worry about there. I like the Gafford one. Capella is still the dream target, but it's tough because it's hard to swing a trade with a starting center like that twice in a span of however many months that would be. Especially since it happened right before training camp. So, and it's going to be even compounded by the fact that like you don't have your big three out there. So you're not seeing how Nurkic can be optimized yet. You're kind of seeing a lot of the drawbacks more so than what he can bring to the table. So I do worry like the Suns might not make a move with Nurkic just because they might not wind up with a big enough sample size to be like, okay, this is good or this is bad. We need to change course,
Any more, Lauren? Any other?
I have a pretty long list of names, but I just like some of the bigger contracts. I'm like, I just don't know that I don't know that I can see Phoenix moving money for Colin Sexton or even DeMar DeRozan and Torrey Craig or trying to get in on Malcolm Brogdon. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there are potential options out there. But I mean, I even think that they have a better shot at Clint Capella than I think that they have at Daniel Gafford. Actually, I think that could really materialize. And so I think for Phoenix, I would say that I feel like they might have more options than people are going to jump to just assume. Like, would you have any interest in like a Devonte Graham? If you mentioned campaign on your bench, does that even do anything for you in Devonte Graham?
Not really with Devonte Graham. Like you brought up Malcolm Brogdon. I know that's a guy that the Suns were definitely interested in over the summer as well, especially before, the injury stuff came out or whatever. That would be an interesting one. I think he could be a good mix of like floor general / scorer coming off the bench, pretty poised player who's been on playoff teams. That would be helpful for them. I know that they were interested in DeMar DeRozan before the Bradley Beal thing happened. I think at this point that'd probably be a little redundant. It would be hilarious if James Jones traded for Torrey Craig at the trade deadline for the third year in a row. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it'd be wild. It'd be peak comedy for me.
Yeah, and I doubt they have the guns to go after Alex Caruso because he would be perfect for
he'd be great.
I'll say this. This is the last year, I believe, the Suns can aggregate contracts. So because they're heading into second tax apron, new CBA, all that stuff, they won't be able to aggregate all of these contracts to trade. So maybe that is an incentive for them to actually make some kind of move. Which, again, to Lauren's point there, what that move is, how big, how grandiose of a move they want to do, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Matt Ishbia is going to be aggressive. He's going to, like we've seen it twice already. I was one of the people that when the Bradley Beal rumors first came out, I was like, that doesn't make sense. They wouldn't do that. And then 24 hours later, it was like, sure, why the hell not? Like, I guess he wanted to come here, so now he's here. So you never know when you have an owner like that and you have an attractive destination like Phoenix. Like, as much as Devin Booker seems to be like a controversial star or not as well liked on Twitter, like guys around the league really respect him and rock with him.
Like, is Devin Booker
we've seen Chris Paul.
Is that it's got to be just on Mavs Twitter. It's just got to be Mavs Twitter coming your way. I mean, they hate him.
I mean, it's partly Mavs Twitter. I think Lakers Twitter. I feel like a lot of people don't mess with Devin Booker that way, and I don't know if it was because of the Kendall Jenner thing, if it was because of the 70-point scoring night and a loss, all that stuff. It could also be that Suns fans can be kind of obnoxious sometimes, and we've been screaming at the top of our lungs for years that, like, give this guy talent, and I promise he's actually good. But yeah, it's one of those things where guys around the league love Devin Booker. They like hanging out with him, playing with him, whatever. So I think between those three, Frank Vogel, an aggressive owner who they know is going to be willing to pay up for their services, it's a place that guys will want to go. I don't know, if a Clint Capella has the staying power to be like, I want to go to Phoenix, but
I don't because I don't like Devin Booker,
Right. Yeah. Right.
Follow hosts at Just S Barahini on all socials and at The Lauren Gunn on Twitter. The Objective Basketball Podcast, delivering the NBA